Hey, it's Steven for Futurelooks.com, and we are still at CES 2014 in Las Vegas, covering all the stuff for people who like computers just like you. I hope you enjoyed episode 1. Here's episode 2 with even more stuff that you care about. One of the most important things about PC DIY is picking the proper power supply. And if you don't pick the right power supply, you don't get a good one, you're going to have power fluctuations that are going to damage your components and just give you an overall crappy DIY experience. Now, one of the things that InWin does really well is power supplies. Check out this new Serenity 900 watt power supply. It's one of their first 80 plus platinum power supplies, which means that you're going to get a lot more of that 900 watt rating that you paid for. And this power supply, in addition to the modular feature that I really love, has this really unique brushed metal finish with this accent around the fan shroud. It's a truly unique design, and it's kind of what InWin is really known for, which is really unique out-of-the-box design. Now, I don't have pricing and availability for this particular power supply, but what I'm told is that it's going to be comparable to most other units on the market at this wattage and at this rating. Next up, we're going to be checking out MSI, and we're going to be seeing some new motherboards and GPUs from them. Let's check that out. You know, for a little while now, MSI has been basically differentiating their boards based on color. The yellow boards are for overclocking, the red boards are for gaming, and the blue boards are more of your channel boards, your mainstream boards. But the question is, and because they've been concentrating mostly on Intel boards, is, well, where are the AMD boards? That's a very good question, and this is something that they're going to be addressing at CES 2014, starting with these boards down here. Now, the FM2 platform, 2 Plus platform, has been available for quite some time now, but it hasn't received any love. But now it's about to get that love that it deeply deserves. First of all, they've got a gaming series version of the FM2 Plus board. This one here has all of the gaming series features, including upgraded NIC, upgrading networking, all of the gaming series, gaming motif and everything like that, and of course, dual graphics support. Then we move down to the channel board, which is basically more or less a stripped down version of it, but it still has a lot of the same features. And then moving down at the bottom, because the AM2 Plus platform is such a good home theater PC, an all-around great platform at a reasonable cost, you've got mini ITX versions of those boards as well too, in varying trim and also capabilities right here. So they've got a full range. The only thing that I can't tell you about these boards is how much they're going to cost, because that pricing information is coming up soon. But MSI has said that these boards will be out by the end of the quarter. Next up, we're going to check out a new graphics card that MSI has out for us to check out. With Litecoin, Dogecoin, and of course Bitcoin, AMD cards have become increasingly popular because of their massive hashing capabilities over their NVIDIA counterparts. And that's why we see here a very interesting card from MSI using the 290X GPU from AMD. This card here is of their Lightning series. It's yellow, meaning that it's part of their overclocking series. So you can seriously overclock this and make that hashing a little bit more faster, for lack of better terms. This card actually carries a very small premium over the reference card of only about $60 to maybe $80, which is, if you look at this card and the way that it's configured with its massive heatsink, the new reinforcement ribs and everything, and check this out, it uses 2 8-pin and 1 single 6-pin for massive overclocking capability. This is the card to have if you're going to be mining and possibly profiting off of it. MSRP again is undisclosed, but again they did say about $60 to $80 over a reference card, so you can do the math from there, and they did say that it is available by the end of the quarter. Next up, we're going to check out something that gamers and enthusiasts have been asking of MSI for quite a little while now. Gamers and enthusiasts have been asking MSI to make mice for quite a while now, and guess what? They've actually complied with that request. At CES 2014, they're announcing 2 mice, starting with this one here. This is called the DS100 MSI Interceptor Gaming Mouse. This is a 7-button mouse with 3500 DPI sensor and a completely customizable color scheme. It's a fantastic mouse with good feature set. Feels really great in the hand. It's nice and small, so if you want to pack it with you in your LAN party rig, you can do so. And they've also launched gaming mouse pads as well too that use a unique silicone backing, so it stays where you want it to, or you can bake your cookies on it. I'm just kidding. The next mouse that they have is called the DS200. Now this one has a high-performance 8200 DPI sensor, 10 buttons, and an even more extreme profile for your for gaming needs. Lots of really great features here, including an adjustable weight sensor, and also just a really great feeling weight about it. And of course the braided cables as well too for added durability. Pricing for both mice is targeted to be just under $50 for each unit, and they expect that these mice will be available in the market by the end of the quarter. Next up, we're going to check in with Kingston. They've got some really cool stuff, some stuff that you can buy right now, and some stuff that you may be able to buy in the future. Checking in with our good friends at Kingston here. Now, I've got Mike over here who's going to walk us through a lot of the new products. Some of them are concepts, some of them will be coming out very soon. But the first one that I see over here that's piquing my interest is the DDR4. What can you tell me about this, Mike?
DDR4 is the next generation of memory technology that's scheduled to follow DDR3. And you're first going to see DDR4 at the server level.
Now, we've been trying to find a DDR4 board that actually runs this stuff. Everyone says that they have a DDR4 module, but you actually have something running here.
We do. We actually showed DDR4 running at IDF in September 2013, so just a few months back. Now we're actually showing a fully loaded server. We went from 192 then to 384 gigabytes. So that is running live, and this is an Intel reference platform for their future server. I can't tell you anything about it. I can only show you the memory. That's our portion. Got special permission from the executives at Intel to be able to bring this here to CES and show you that we as a memory company are ready to support Intel and the future of the data center.
That's great, and Futurelooks viewers should feel very special at this sneak peek look at something that will be coming down in September timeframe. Now we're going to check out some new SODIMM modules that are going to be here to support the latest trend of Steam boxes and small form factor PCs. Let's have a look at those. One of the really great trends in PC DIY is, of course, the small form factor PCs. They're giving DIY enthusiasts and everyone a real challenge to build smaller systems with smaller components, and one of those components is of course memory.
You see guys like Zotac and Intel and Gigabyte and ASRock coming out with these smaller, very powerful systems. Well, we're here to tell you that we've got memory to complement those. So starting there on the left, we have the Zotac Z-Box, and that's actually running standard 1600. Those are our plug-and-play HyperX SODIMMs. Next in the series would be Intel's NUC. Now that's the latest Haswell-based NUC called Wilson Canyon. We are showing our plug-and-play DIMMs running at 1866, so a bit of a speed jump there. Next in the series would be Gigabyte's Brick system. Very popular. This little guy is running 2133 on those SODIMMs. And lastly, we have the ASRock M8 board. Now, we have some prototypes in there running 2400 megahertz right now on the memory. Really, when it comes to support of these faster memory technologies, it's really up to the motherboard companies. So we're here to say that we've got the memory, it works, and you get a nice big speed bump, but it's up to those motherboard companies enough to enable it in the BIOS and make that memory work on the system. For this example here, we're showing our 2400 megahertz running on the system, right, in the special mem test program. But sometimes when you actually boot the system, it might downclock the system. So you got to pay close attention to what those guys will actually be running the native the memory at. 2133 on the Gigabyte Bricks is running at speed. So you can count on that system to support our plug-and-play SODIMMs.
So even if you have a small form factor system, you also have the capability to increase the graphics performance, which is normally hobbled a little bit because of the memory, with your PMP modules, which go all the way from 1600 megahertz all the way up to 24, motherboard BIOS permitting.
Yes, that's correct.
For small form factor users that don't want to sacrifice performance, Kingston looks like they have some solutions here for you. But moving back to the PC enthusiast side, we've got a couple more products to show you behind us that are really, really cool. So in the PC DIY space, the HyperX Genesis, the HyperX Blue, that's a staple in many people's systems because they look great, they come in multiple colors, and they also fit under massive heat sinks most of the time. But now you've got kind of an update to that in this new memory module that I see right here.
We've come up with a new brand, it's called Fury. And these are some of the sample colors that you're going to see with a brand new heat spreader design. So it's very low profile, and we're working closely with the motherboard manufacturers to match colors that they'll be featuring on their boards, so that we can give you that real homogeneous feel to your system if you're going all red, all black, all blue, or my favorite would be the all white with the black PCB. Kind of reminds me of Star Wars, right? Stormtroopers.
This is very Captain America, by the way.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, in terms of a price premium, would there be a premium in price between the HyperX Genesis and this particular new heat spreader design?
So our HyperX philosophy is good, better, best. And so we offer overclock solutions for every type of gamer out there. I mean, not every gamer necessarily has to build an X79 board with our beast memory going fast and 64 gigs. Sometimes you just need a little bit of a boost to 1866 or 2133 and you don't want to break the bank. So that's what Fury is going to offer our customers.
Now, because gamers, enthusiasts love the HyperX brand so much, we learned that at PAX, you guys decided to start branding things like memory for different teams. You even worked with SteelSeries to develop a headset, which actually got received quite well. But it looks like you liked that headset so much that you decided to build your own.
We did. We had a great experience working with our partner at SteelSeries, but we wanted a little more control over the design and other features that we thought HyperX users were looking for. So we decided to work with QPad, very famous on their headsets, and they worked with our engineers really closely to develop our cloud. That's this headset here. And so this is actually available right now for pre-order, and the cloud features a removable microphone. It's got a pretty dynamic range, 5 to 25k hertz. It's got a 53 millimeter driver. We've got leather embroidered and black and red on the headband. And we really strive for comfort with this. We know gamers are playing for hours and hours at a time, so we're using memory foam as the cushion when you're wearing that.
And I see that there's also an inline volume control as well too, so that you can mute and also control your volume from afar.
Absolutely. Who wants to go, toggle over their desktop or mess with your keyboard when they're in the action? They just reach over, adjust the sound to exactly where they need it.
And of course, mute.
Mute, absolutely.
Fantastic. Kingston wouldn't be Kingston without memory or storage solutions, rather, and we're going to have a look at those right over here. Now, one of the very common questions on PC DIY users' minds are, when are the SSD is going to get bigger? When are my flash storage solutions going to get bigger? And will they cost a whole lot of money? Well, Kingston has a solution to that.
We do. We've been increasing the capacity of our drives, and we brought some prototypes here to CES to show off where we're going to be coming in the next couple months with our SSD drives. Over here, we're demonstrating Intel's Haswell NUC again, and this new NUC supports a 2.5-inch drive bay. So you've got an mSATA socket right there on the board, and we've increased the capacity of our mSATA, that's our SMS 200 line, up to 480 gigabytes. So you've got 480 gigabytes there, plus room for a 2.5-inch drive. And as part of our expansion, our V series, which is our entry-level line, will be offering 1 terabyte in the coming months. Now, this is using a new controller from our partner Phison and some new flash from Toshiba, and you can expect speeds of over 500 megabytes per second on that new drive.
So even with the increased storage capacity, you still get the same great performance that we're normally used to. And of course, we're going to be paying probably through the nose for these at some point.
Well, I wouldn't imagine so. I mean, V Series is our entry-level product line, so it's not going to bust the bank, right? So you're going to be paying, what you would for, $1 per gigabyte or whatever the market is on NAND these days.
Well, that's a little bit more reassuring.
Yeah.
But I'm actually really excited about the product that's behind us over here. This is your PCI Express solution based on M.2, is that correct?
That is correct. So we've been doing M.2 behind the scenes for a little while, helping out system manufacturers and data center guys, and we're finally going to make this commercially available for our users, right? So M.2 form factor comes in a couple different lengths, and we'll be offering these in the coming months.
That's great. And I see something else down here with a Predator.
Yes.
On it. What can you tell me about that, Mike?
This is our most exciting product this year at CES. HyperX Predator for our SSD line is going to be our PCI Express SSD. And we're featuring a brand new controller from our partner, that's LSI Sandforce. This is the 3700 series. And this 3700 series controller is going to give us great performance improvements in terms of bandwidth as well as IOPS. And what they allowed us to show here at CES is the read performance.
Ooh, let's have a look at that.
Yes, so on the screen here you can see we're able to show on an iometer that uncompressed data we're able to read at 1800 megabytes per second. That's of course all we're allowed to show right now with our prototype, other than the new colors and things that we'll be featuring on this.
That's great. Now, can you speculate just a little bit on the pricing and availability? Because I know that people are just going to ask that question.
I'm dying to know the answer to that question because I want one of these for my gaming system. But we don't know yet what the pricing is going to be. Expect to see this product in the second half of this year. Once we finish maturing the controller, working on the market, and deciding on which color we're going to offer, whether it's going to be black, blue, or red on the heat spreader. We'd love your feedback, by the way. Then we'll have a price for you guys. So just keep your eyes out.
And obviously they'll be available in standard capacities that we are used to, like 240, 480, etc.
Yeah, our prototype here is a 480 gigabyte drive, and we have spec'd all the way up to 2 terabytes that we're going to be offering. So it might not be ready right away, but 2 terabytes is where we're going to be going.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Mike.
Thank you.
Now we're off to see Rosewill to see what they have for PC enthusiasts just like you. I have 3 products to show you from CES 2014, starting with the successor to the Blackhawk. This is the Blackhawk 2 over here. This case is based off the original Blackhawk, which was the official case of BlizzCon. Now this is the improved version of it with, you know, just a little bit more room inside for larger graphics cards, and also some other features that I really like, including this fan bus feature right here. So you can manage your fans at a single point, you know, making sure that you can cable manage all the fan cables properly into one spot. The other thing that I really like about this case is the new magnetic cover, which underneath unveils a place for your KitKats or your tools or whatever, or your screws, or even a very small phone. And it also has both micro SD and SDXC micro SD card readers, and 4 USB ports, which were not on the original Blackhawk. And it even has a 2-position low and high fan controller switch right here. Now all of the intakes will be completely filtered, which is a good thing because that makes it easy to clean. And the MSRP of the new case is $120, and it'll even come with a windowed side panel so you can show off your build and your efforts. Moving right along, we're going to be looking at a case over here that we saw at Computex 2013. This is called the Rise. Now, if you remember at Computex 2013, they were showing off a system with like 3 GTX Titans and a single dual socket motherboard. This is that case. What is special about this particular case is the fact that it's actually fairly short. And how they've been able to do that is they've been able to do that by removing all of the drive bays in the front and using a more of a truncated sort of mounting system where you can mount 4 drive bays at the bottom, another 4 SSDs at the top here behind this structural girder here, which is tool free, so you can totally remove this. And there's even a fan bus underneath here, just on the end here, if you can see there, to manage all your fans. Now speaking of fans, this case will come with 3 120mm fans in the front, and 1 140mm fan in the very back of the case for exhaust. And you can also take this case to the next level by installing a 360mm radiator, or one in the top here. So it has all sorts of water cooling and air cooling configurations that you can put into this. But most importantly, it's a very short case, so it takes up a little bit less length underneath your desk, and In addition to the drive base up here, I forgot to mention this to you, there's additional 2 spots in the back for additional drive cages. So what that means is that if you really wanted to, you can completely remove this part here, the drive cages, and just have a really clean looking system with just your motherboard, your GPUs and everything inside along with your power supply. MSRP for this case is $120 and it will be available at the end of Q2, just like the new Blackhawk 2. And the last thing about this case is that it will come with a windowed side panel, just like this, allowing you to show off your awesome workstation or gaming rig. Now finally, we're going to take you to their keyboards. Now Rosewill has been making mechanical keyboards for quite some time now, and they've become very popular because they provide a good value, they're inexpensive, and they also provide mechanical keys from Cherry MX. This particular keyboard does not come with a Cherry MX switch, but if you take a couple presses of the keys, it's actually very hard to tell the key presses from a Cherry MX blue switch, which is very good. I mean, it feels really nice. It's good action. This is a 10 keyless design, and it has the capability of displaying up to 16+ million colors through the software that's included, where you can also program in macros and all the other features that you expect to be able to do with a keyboard with software enhancement. It'll also store those profiles on board, and although this is not per key lighting, there are actually profiles where you can enable FPS mode where the WASD keys will light up or other keys used in very common games. Pricing and availability of this particular keyboard has not been announced yet, but do expect to hear more about this at the end of Q2 when this should be launching from Rosewill. So we'll have a little bit more on that later on once we get that news. Now we're going to pop by to see Cooler Master to see what they have for PC enthusiasts. We're at the Cooler Master Suite, high above the Palms Hotel, and we're checking out some brand new PC DIY products.
Right now we have here the Half Stacker. And you know the Half Stacker was launched last year as a mod tower, and it's been expandable. A lot of people have been asking, what can we do to expand this chassis? So what you see right here is a full line of accessory kits. This is a new side window that's fully glass window, acrylic actually, with the 915 here, and we're going to be launching that. As well as over here, we actually have the accessories that people have been asking for. People have been asking for something to convert it into a NAS, so we have these hard drive accessory kits, which we'll have, and something which I like, which is really special, is you can replace the I/O now with this new slim optical drive slot. This optical drive slot will allow you to have the slim slot-in optical drives that a lot of people like.
Now these are going to be pretty affordable, right?
Oh yes, we expect all of these I/O and other accessories to be around the $20 range, and they'll be sold in packs. So let's say you want to stack or you want to have a standalone kit, we'll actually have them labeled and put in accessories.
That's great, Jonathan. Now, something that really interests me down here is this cubular case down here. What can you tell me about this, Jonathan?
Well, this is our new prototype chassis. What we've done here is we've taken a full tower and we shrunk it down as small as possible, but this chassis right here will be in this segment with a full acrylic side window. It's a wraparound window. And this wraparound window allows you to have a lot of light, so you can see the entire internals, including your full-size motherboard tray.
That's fantastic, because I know that a lot of people, when they finish their build, they're really proud of it, their cable management, and they want to show off. This is actually a really great way to do it. Were there any challenges in getting this type of acrylic to work on the side panel?
Oh yes, actually this is a prototype right now. What we want to do is we want to work on a more easy to use door mechanism that'll be very facilitating, especially when you want to upgrade your case and your hardware. One advantage of this case is that actually it's rotatable. As you know, the XB sits horizontal, and this chassis is currently sitting in tower mode. So we have this chassis designed from the ground up that you can actually use it in test bench mode or in chassis mode like this.
Oh, that's really cool. I didn't realize it would do that. So basically, if you want to build a system normally, you want to show off all your components, you can do that. But you can also have a test bench to kind of make sure that all your components are working before you lock down your configuration.
Yes, and what we tried with this case is we wanted to hold full tower components. So what you can see on the inside is a full 360mm radiator support. And on the top, you have their full 280mm radiator support.
That is very cool, Jonathan. Now, in terms of pricing availability, I know this is a prototype. Have you guys planned that out out in advance?
Yeah, we have it planned out, sometime available sometime in Q2, but of course the pricing is TBA right now. We want to give it the most value, especially depending on what kind of window we choose.
Fantastic, and of course we'll be checking in with you on that a little bit more later on in the year. Now there's also a couple more cases down here, and in particular I know that the Steam Box is pretty much taken over CES, and of course Mini ITX is definitely a growing segment with PC DIY guys because of course they offer a new challenge. This case here I'm really impressed with because of the price.
Great, yeah, this Elite 110, it will be available probably next week in North America. It's only $49.99, and what we've done is this. We've allowed end users to upgrade their motherboard to a smaller size, say MITX. Yet this is the smallest size. You can use a standard power supply. You can use a standard water cooling, which is 120mm size, the standard average video card, and you can put it all together in a very compact size.
So basically, in terms of changing over to this, changing the motherboard, and you can do pretty much a swap to the Mini ITX board platform, in this case for $49, which is very inexpensive, or you can take it up a notch and just buy all new components and really build a really compact, clean system.
Yes, and that's why we give the flexibility to the DIY user, especially under this 15-liter size.
Fantastic. Now, in terms of stuff for workstation and for silent PC builders, what do you have for them?
Well, for silent PC builders, a lot of times we get a common question, why do we use so much mesh? And we use it for cooling. However, some people like the meshless style, and for them we have this whole line of Silencios. And these Silencios actually are unique versions because they do have the insulation on the front panel, and they also have a quick changeable fan filter in the front. But other than that, this real secret of the performance is because we have these new fans. These are new silent flow fans from Cooler Master, and we've tested them in the labs. We can run them as low as 8 dBA.
That's really low. And in terms of pricing and availability for this case?
This case is TBA right now. The availability should be in end of Q1, sometime around March.
Now, I see that there's looks like a smaller version of this. Would this be a lower price point version?
Yes, we have a full line. This is the 652S, and this is a 452S. And each of these versions will include at least 2 or 3 of these silent flow fans.
So they're pretty much ready to go out of the box, just put in your components, right?
Yes, and you get a quiet and very cool system.
Now speaking of cooling, guys, Cooler Master is known for their cooling products, and we're gonna stop for a sec and have a look at those. So continuing with our Cooler Master coverage, we're going to talk about cooling products, in particular water cooling first. What do you got here, Jonathan?
Well, what we have here is Glacier 360L, and this is a larger sequel to our Glacier 240L, which is very popular. And it's very popular because what we've done is we've made a semi-DIY kit. So end user can buy it right now, and it's fully sealed and warranted. However, down the road, they can upgrade it for their video card or their motherboard cooling.
So let me get this straight. Traditionally, all these liquid all-in-one cooling systems were pretty much locked down. You basically, when it breaks, when it dies, you have to buy a whole new system. But what you're telling me now is that PC DIY guys now have an option to kind of get their feet wet with this system, and once they decide, hey, you know what, I want to go just a little bit more crazy, add a new pump, add a new radiator, I can totally do that with the system.
Yes, and the 360mm radiator size right here being copper and brass, it actually gives them a lot of headroom to have the water cooling capacity to cool your entire system.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, in terms of pricing and availability, I know people are going to ask that question. What do you have for us to share?
Well, for this model, the availability will be sometime in March. The pricing should be around the $160 to $170 range. It's not confirmed yet, but should be very affordable for this segment.
Well, if you're able to get it in that price point for an extra, what, like $60, $70 over all-in-one system, that's really actually pretty darn affordable. That's great. Now moving on here, you've got the updates to the Neptune series too, right?
Yes, and these Neptunes are actually a Cooler Master design. We scaled down the radiator sizes to the 240mm and the 120 large thick radiator size. And these fans come standard with a version of our JetFlow fans, which people have used for high performance purposes.
So these are more of a drop-in solution versus the other thing that we saw over there, but they're still very high performance, right?
Yes, they're high performance and they're all-in-one. They're fixed systems, so you buy it and it's 100% covered under warranty, but there is no expandability on this.
Now, in terms of pricing and availability for these updates, what do you have to share with us on that?
The current pricing and availability will be sometime in Q1. The pricing on these units should be typical within the range of what we've been selling currently with the Sidon series.
Okay.
So don't expect any huge premium. So this should be in the value to mainstream category.
So same price, better performance.
Yes.
I love that. Now, moving on, We've also got something for air coolers as well too. We've got 2 new coolers to go over. Can you tell me a little bit more about these?
Great. With the advent of a lot of smaller cases, people have been asking for an efficient tower cooler with a little bit more unique design. What we've done here is we have an offset 92mm fan design. This allows us to minimize the dead zone behind the hubs of the fan. So when people are using push-pull configuration, you get a lot better airflow out of a small and efficient package.
Now it looks like it's also shorter than 160mm, because I know that a lot of cases, especially slim towers, we have a problem with the side window kind of bumping into it. Is this under 160?
Yes, it's under 160mm right now.
Fantastic. Now for folks that want a little bit more cooling performance, you've also got this guy right here. What can you tell me about it, Jonathan?
Well, this is a 3-in-1 cooler. We call it the PS600, but right now the naming has not been confirmed. But cooler is 3-in-1 because currently we have a 120mm bracket on it. This fan cooler actually supports 140mm as well. And the third function is, with the more efficient coolers and CPUs right now, we have a very generous fin spacing. And this fin spacing allows you to use passive cooling, which means completely fanless.
Now, pricing availability for this beast, what are we looking at?
Well, availability and pricing have not been confirmed. We're working on it right now. We'll tell you a little bit more on the future.
Fantastic, and we will definitely be checking back with you on that a little bit later on in the year. Now, for all those fanboys out there, Jonathan has something pretty sweet on the fan side. What can you tell me about this guy right here? Well,
we had a whole line of jet flows last year, and people have found that the POM bearing, which is very reliable, and the rubberized corners, which are very, very effective on eliminating vibration. However, with this unit, we have a 38mm thick size. And traditionally, the 38mm thick size has been in the realm of industrial coolers. But what we've done here is we've taken high air pressure and around 100 CFM, but we wanted to make a fan that would spin very quiet and a lot better noise quality. So with this kind of fan, you'll get about 2,000 RPM, but you'll get that 100 CFM level at the more quiet speed than the regular thin 25mm fans.
So basically an industrial design tuned to be just a little bit more bearable for home users, and you've got all the performance of that industrial design in a very small, very affordable package, right?
Yes, more efficient and actually better performance.
Oh, that's great. Now, can you tell me a little bit more about how you guys are going to price this, when it's going to be available?
Well, our current JetFlow series is around the $16, $17 price point, which is the thin series. This will be available without LED. We're hoping around the $20 to $21 range, which is very price comparable, especially with this performance level we're offering.
Oh, that's great, Jonathan. Well, thank you so much. So these are really great coolers and cases, but we've got one more thing to show off to you, and that's power supplies. And we're going to cut over to Nathan, and he's standing by for us right now. So as promised, Nathan is going to take us through some of the new power supplies from Cooler Master, starting with their new V-Series. What can you tell me about the new V-Series power supplies?
Okay, so we have these V-Series semi-modulars. I'll just pick one up and show it to you. It's a continuation of our current V-Series. It's going to be available in 3 wattages, the 550, 650, and 750. And you can tell it's semi-modular. All you have to do is plug in the SATAs, the CPU, and PCI Expresses are already connected to the power supply. And then we also have our current V-Series, which will be refreshed into Platinum. So we're going to have the 550, 650, 750 Gold, and then 750, 850, and 1,000 and 1,200 watt Platinum.
Now we also have that 1,200 watt Platinum running in the system right now, right?
Yeah, the 1,200 watt Gold is in the system right now.
Gold,
and
right.
And then in a couple months out, they'll all be refreshed to Platinum.
Okay, fantastic. Now you've also got something for more of like the mainstream users over here in the GM series, right?
Yes, mainstream users kind of demand the bronze over the gold just because it's more price sensitive. So it's going to be available in the same wattages, the 550, 650, 750. It's semi-modular. It's an identical unit to the ones I just showed you in the VSM with the same cabling and everything. The only difference is the rating.
Now, what does the GM series stand at in terms of pricing and availability?
Yeah, it's currently available in EU. They already have it. We haven't brought it in yet because we're waiting just to. We have the golds that we're launching
right
before that. So they launched it first. It's going really well. People have already reviewed it. It's got very positive reviews, and I believe the pricing is $79, $89, $99.
Okay, and then of course the pricing will work itself out once you guys refresh the V series, right?
Yeah. It's all going to fall in line. So, for an extra $10, you can get either 100 more watts or a bump in rating.
Okay, so sort of like the coolers that we just talked about over there, you're going to get more performance for the same amount of dollars, right?
Yeah. Our platinums are going to come in at the same price points as our current golds, and then our golds are just going to kind of trickle down a little bit, and everything's just going to get more and more aggressive.
Well, that's fantastic, Nathan. Thank you so much. And that's a look at everything at Cooler Master here. We'll be catching up with them a little bit later on this week to see some more products. We got more coverage from CES 2014 in Las Vegas coming up, full of stuff for people who like computers. I'm Steven with Futurelooks.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in episode 3.